Alex Jones here in Austin, Texas, with Paul Watson visiting from London. It's been 16 years, my friend. You've been with the InfoWar, isn't it?
It's been a while. It's been a long time.
When did you start? Like 2001?
2002, I think. Yeah.
So it's been 15 years.
Yeah. Decade and a half.
Here's the bottom line. I'm going to let Paul break this down. Trump's doing great stuff, like announcing he's going to withdraw from NAFTA and GATT that totally screwed us over. He already killed the TPP. So we want to praise the things that have been good. The globalists are pissed. They're upset. We clearly have a president that's an American president, not a globalist. The power structure's against him, but his daughter's come out that's pushing open borders and globalism. He's got Sessions, who I think is a good guy overall, but also his CIA director saying, arrest Julian Assange is priority number one. The guy that Trump said, release the data, release the data. It's Hillary's crimes. That is not being loyal. So I'm a loyal person to America and our republic and a free market. But I've got some major problems at this point. Doesn't mean I'm going to join the globalists or Stephen Colbert and all their jokes and all their lies. Doesn't mean I'm going to try to put training bathrooms in for 5-year-olds. It doesn't mean I want to get rid of tax cuts. I support all that. But I'm not in a cult. And he was perfect for 70 days. In the last 35, 32, whatever it is, he started going this way. Paul famously said, I'm off the Trump train on foreign policy. He said, oh, you're against Trump. The liberals all celebrate it. No, we're not saying that. We're saying we have serious concerns about real issues. And McMaster's wanting to give nukes. The head of the National Security Council. Wow, the wind just kicked up. The head of the National Security Council to Saudi Arabia. So we're politically informed. And we're not partisan, we're about information. That's called conspiracy theory. Because a dumbed-down population can pseudo-intellectually say anybody that's informed is a conspiracy theorist. Anybody who's successful is a conspiracy theorist. Anybody that can wipe their ass is a conspiracy theorist. So Paul, let's talk about this. We didn't pre-plan this. We're shooting this live feed. We just had dinner after you worked hard all day with the crew, myself and Buckley. But we're down here. We're about to take your girlfriend, my wife, out to dinner. Buckley's wife out to dinner. But I just said, hey, we should shoot a video about Trump, saying he's going to go after, or his minions going after Assange. And he said, well, how about his daughter? So let's talk about that.
Yeah, Trump's daughter, Ivanka, came out today. She went on the Today Show and basically said, oh, it needs to be part of the discussion that we open the borders to Syrian refugees. Of course, anyone with a basic knowledge of the migration crisis knows that it's not just Syrian refugees. It's a tiny portion that are actually from Syria. So that's a big problem when you've got the situation in Germany, in France, where you have these terrorist attacks, you have these mass assaults. So Ivanka Trump came out today. Either she's a bleeding heart liberal who is completely naive, unassuming, and just off in la-la land, that's the best case scenario, or she's an actual globalist. What worries me is she's hanging out this week with Angela Merkel, who is the big pioneer of open borders in Germany. Despite admitting back in 2010 multiculturalism doesn't work, she's still
and the Islamist invasion.
Yeah. And she's hanging out with Christine Lagarde, formerly IMF, also a big globalist. She's writing editorials in the Financial Times, which is a globalist newspaper, with the president of the World Bank.
And Trump saying he's listening to her. And I'm not against her. It's such a betrayal. I mean, it's such a betrayal. Did we elect a better-looking young Hillary Clinton? No, we elected Donald J. Trump.
The proviso is, of course, we're delighted that Hillary Clinton's not in office, and that's a good thing. The deportations have increased, the tax cuts come in, that's all good. But we're not sycophants. So we're going to hold Trump's feet to the fire. We're going to stick by principles that we've stuck by for 6-7 years in the case of Syria. Don't bomb the people that are actually fighting ISIS. If ISIS wins, those refugees aren't going to be able to return to their country. So why are you bombing ISIS? That's why we criticise that policy. Now they're making an outreach to Saudi Arabia. They're talking about an invasion force in Syria. This is everything we spoke out against. So just because Trump is behind it, or the people have convinced him to be behind it, we're not going to support that, because we've got principles and consistency.
And we'll go back to that in a moment. We watched Obama launch unprecedented wars, back Al-Qaeda, ISIS, overthrow countries for radical Islam, failed states, women being sold into slavery in Libya, in North Africa as well, right next door in Egypt. And then they go, oh my God, you're a right-winger, you don't like war. And now Trump's doing it, we're against that. Because it's what the military-industrial complex wants. We're not against the military. Like Eisenhower wasn't against the military. He warned of that undue influence. And it's just, we should come together against all this. So I asked myself, because obviously Trump's smart, what is he doing? Because it's one thing if it was rhetoric. He actually has Kushner and his daughter and others out there pushing globalism right now. But then there's the paradox where we need to control our borders, we need sovereignty, we need tax cuts, we need to appeal Obamacare or repeal it, we need to kill political correctness. He's doing a lot of good stuff, so it's a paradox. With Hillary, you know, she blows your head off right away. With Trump, he just slow poisons you. And so I'm just asking, what is he doing? Did they finally get to him with the threats? Did they finally get to him with all the Russia narrative, all this crap? I mean, Paul, what do you think's really happening? Because I owe nothing to Trump. I don't care he's called me. I don't care he listens to the show. I don't care his sons listen. I don't care I've talked to a bunch of them. He's nobody if he sells out. I don't have any loyalty just because some famous president, you know, we got our listeners to support Trump. They believed in what he was saying. And if he abandons that, he's just one more globalist. Doesn't he understand that the only shot we've got at real victory is actually not going along with the system? We've got all the leftist trendies following Stephen Colbert, all the old people following that, the young people don't, all the kind of addled folks that are conformist, begging the liberal system to believe they'll be empowered, totally unhappy, the right wing controlled as well. We're all an exodus out of that libertarian Americana. We want to be out away from all the trendies and all this crap. And then we just see him like going right back to that. It's amazing. Let's talk about Assange, because this is Trump saying, release whatever you've got. Doesn't matter who has it, the Russians, America, whoever. She committed crimes. Hillary committed crimes. Release it if you've got it. He says, release it if you've got it. He's not a Russian spy saying that. She committed crimes. Release it if you've got it. It's crimes. Don't make it who has the leaked crimes. It's who committed the crime. But now, number one mission, arrest the whistleblowers, his greatest ally, heroes like Assange, heroes like Edward Snowden. I mean, I'm not off the Trump train. I'll take the good stuff he's doing. But my God, when you start betraying people that were leaked info by patriots and our own intelligence agencies, it's like, my heavens, wow, is that not evil?
I think, going back to what Alex was saying before, he was isolated. The swamp basically drained him. We had Kellyanne Conway, we had Bannon, we had General Flynn. They had a big influence originally. They were isolated. They were brought away from Trump. Bannon's basically now hanging on by a thread. The other thing is, Trump is still very impressionable. He takes advice from everybody. I was told that Trump didn't get any good advice on Syria. Bannon kind of stayed in the background, and the only advice he was getting was that this is going to be great, this is going to make you look strong, despite the risks that it carried with it. So he needs to be surrounded by those good people again. But he's been isolated. Now it's a deep state coup. We warned from the start. This is how they would try to do it. They would try to isolate Trump, surround him with the wrong people. You could go through his National Security Council. Half of them CFR members. You would expect a few to be, but it was literally half, and this was 2 months ago. So they subverted him. That's what happened. Trump didn't just do a 180. He's just been given terrible advice.
Exactly. Let's be clear. The battery's about to die. I don't want to upload this live feed. We're not making excuses for Trump. When he's in crowds, when he's got Bannon, when I've talked to him, it's in speeches 2 days later, he really believes in what he's doing. He can't appoint anybody. He can't get anybody. The whole swamp's betraying him. He's gotten so much done that's good, and now you see him sinking into the swamp, kind of like Matt Drudge said a month ago. You don't drain the swamp drains you. So we're not being drained. We've got Soros-founded law firm, globalist, groups suing us right now. We've got the full power of the MSM lying about what we say and do, because we are loyal Americans that don't want to sell you out. I could have easily sold out to them. I can't physically or culturally or spiritually do that, because I'm not here to screw people. But you've got to be upset and get involved as well and put pressure on Trump through C-SPAN, through calls to Congress, through calls to the White House, through letters you send, is just let him understand that we're not backing what's happening, and compromising with the system will only make them disrespect all of us more and sell us out. So we don't have all the answers here. We just know going after the folks that expose the corruption at WikiLeaks and throwing them under the bus when he was saying release it, WikiLeaks, is just the height of BS. It's the height of BS. And it really hurts my heart to see Sessions and others intimidated by the liberal Congress to get tough on Russia. That means just start wars and do all this evil, or they'll go after Trump and him. It's all bull. Call it out. I'm not a Russian agent. You're not a Russian agent. We don't want war with Russia. It's crazy. Paul, closing comments, Infowars.com/show. They're trying to shut us down. You've got to physically spread the links on Facebook, Twitter, and Google and support us. We don't have big sponsors. We've got you supporting us at InfoWarsStore.com. Paul?
The WikiLeaks thing was insane. It was the blasé way in which Trump said, oh yeah, prosecute Assange, who cares? That's very concerning. We're not betraying Trump. We just don't want him to betray the principles that the American people voted him into office for. America first, not globalism. We're holding his feet to the fire, and that's the bottom line.
How the hell could you arrest Assange, who U.S. intelligence gave the leaks of Hillary's criminal activity and her criminal server, when you said do it? You're all about loyalty, Trump. So I'm going to sit here and sit back and hope that, people are, like your CIA director and others, are confused. I just don't understand this. I personally have exposed leaks in government. We personally have exposed this. And we're just trying to get America back. We're trying to cut taxes. We're trying to restore the West. We love how you're blocking radical Islam. That's great. Killing NAFTA and GATT, let's see it happen. Building a wall, that's all wonderful. But trying to serve the Washington neocon establishment by persecuting whistleblowers that put you in office is a true betrayal, and it hurts my heart. I mean, I feel like with Trump doing this, it's like a brother or something is betraying me, and I just hope this isn't the case. So spread this video everywhere, send it to Trump and ask him, Trump, are you really going to betray the whistleblowers? Are you really going to betray? I mean, we sit here against the horrible, lying, diseased, culturally bankrupt, pseudo-intellectual left that isn't even a left. They're just trendies that follow whatever MSNBC says. And they're horrible monsters with Obama persecuting all these people and whistleblowers and loving it. And then now you're going to act just like them. You're just like the Republican establishment or the Democrats if you do that. You were only loved because you were the trailblazer. Infowars.com/show. The phone's about to die. Paul, final comment.
Yeah, the Assange thing was insane. Listen, Trump's impressionable. There's still a chance to reach him, but the swamp is draining him. We need to put a massive call out. We're not betraying Trump. We don't want him to betray us, and that's it.
And we did not elect Jared Kushner or Ivanka Trump to be president. Okay, and we did. And it's just all the Republican establishment, Democrat establishment. They're the enemy, folks. They're against the new media. They're against libertarians. They're against me more than anybody because they know we're real, folks. People have been threatened. You notice InfoWars is not getting promoted out there in a lot of places we used to be. You notice we're under attack because we're real and we're not sold out. They think we're chumps because we're not soulless. No, we have a soul. We understand it transcends all these lies and selling out and being trendies. We're not zombie trendies that go along with threats or intimidation or cultural oppression or peer pressure. We stand for what's right. Paul, in closing, it could die any minute. You've been with InfoWars 15 years. Have we not seen the world change? Think what we've done with the listeners.
We've achieved